with our polity, it must be relevant. Today, before I tell you, I'll give you an insight what we're going to be talking about. I'd like to remind you that we are in the 10th day. We have done the third of the month of March, and be reminded that the third month is the 3rd of March, and it is the last month in the first quarter of year 2024. The very first quarter is almost gone. Remember, you have a plan. What's happening to your plans? Are you pursuing it? Has events overtaken your plans? Have you decisioned it? Are you doing the one they call pay as you go now? No, you must have a plan. And what is a plan? A plan must have deliverables. And a plan with deliverables must be timelined. If deliverables are not timelined, that is like a rolling stone. So your deliverables must have timelines, and you must put it in black and white. Let me make it abundantly clear to you. Any idea that occurs to you and you don't immediately put it down, you bet that when you want to recall, you're not going to be able to recall in the original form that idea first struck you. You will struggle to recall. Therefore, your plan must have timelines and deliverables, and it must be in black and white. Thank God it doesn't have to be in longhand. We have devices today. Anything that strikes you, anywhere, anytime, you just go to the notebook of your device and put it there. Or even don't stress yourself. Just do the recording of it verbally. So, life has been made a lot easy with technology. Please take advantage of these little devices and the technology that come with it. Yes, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Today, we're going to throw the lines open. We get a lot carried away by what we're discussing here, that we no longer, for a very long time now, not been throwing the lines open to our listeners and viewers. And I say welcome to the show this afternoon, our viewers and listeners, wherever you may be located in this global space. This afternoon, you have the opportunity to join the conversation as virtual analysts. Well, today, again, we're going to be talking about this land of our forebears. It is the land of our forebears. We're going to be talking about Nigeria, the Federal Republic of Nigeria. After all, we do not have any other place to call home. And since this is our home, we will continue to talk and act until we get it right. Today, we're going to be talking about the state of our union. Live in the studio with me is a management and media expert, a former special assistant on communications to the late Governor, Senator Isiaka Ajimobi, and of course, a man from the corporate world who also stepped into the political arena. The ones that have a second address in the political arena, professionals in politics. I've been most warmly welcome to our studio this afternoon, Honorable Mule Olatuji. You're most warmly welcome to our studio. Thank you so much for sparing time on a busy day. Like it looks like for Christians, Sundays are longer than even work days.
Honestly, almost half of the day you spend in church. Thanking God for life.
Yeah.
And the opportunity to also be available to see
another way. Yeah.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. And to our listeners at home, thank you so much. I wish you a wonderful time. Like you said, one quarter of the year is almost
yeah, just like that.
Passing. But we thank God. We'll see the end of the year with joy.
Oh yes.
And it's my pleasure to be back here.
Yes. The state of our union, the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I tell people, I am not a Nigerian by choice. I am not Neither am I a patriot by choice. That is the way I was raised. I had no input, you understand? That is the way I was raised. And I can't change that. I can't change anything about the fact that I was raised as believing in Nigeria and being a patriotic Nigerian. There's no, that, I said it's in my DNA. So, and I can't remove that. That's the way I was raised.
Fantastic.
I can't help it. So, the state of our union. As we speak today, you are out there on the streets. I mean, you're a politician. You interact with the people. I mean, as we speak today, the 10th of March, what is the pulse? What is the pulse that you are getting? What is the vibes that you are getting on the street?
Well, for all of us Nigerians, I do not think there's anyone out of the 200 million plus people that have formed this nation today that would say it's a fantastic time. We all agree, right from the presidency, these are tough moments. These are hard times for us as a nation. Yes, we may also say it's a global challenge where almost my younger brother in South Africa just called me. He was thinking of getting some stuff from down there in South Africa and comparing cost here. Surprisingly, it's cheaper here to buy those stuffs.
When you benchmark.
When you benchmark in terms of the value of the currency.
Yeah.
So it's a global. So he told me, I said, you guys also feeling the inflation? He said, Egbon, it's tough over there too as well. We call people from UK, call people from America. It's the same story all over the world. Just that here our problems are peculiar. Local problems. Some of these inflictions that we have are self-made. That we can afford to get out of this mess as quickly as possible. So it's tough. The vibe everywhere is tough. Everybody is complaining. We are all complaining because we buy food in the same market.
Yeah.
We buy every other thing that we need from the same market. So it is tough everywhere. And government has also, confirmed that we know that life is not very smooth now. But what we are also getting from the government is also that in a couple of months, with determination, with commitment, with positioning the government in the right perspectives, our economic programs that the government has put in place now, looking at the budget proposal that has been passed, that we are implementing already.
Yeah.
If one should objectively look at issues, I think if we are true to our words, if government will be living up to responsibilities, if government will do a few adjustments here and there, I think that is a light at the tunnel for us at the end of the day. Hope is very sure that in a couple of months, hopefully with that clause, that if government will be able to do one or two things, don't also forget we looked at planning and management. We have discovered that there is virtually no problem that doesn't have solution.
That's certain.
It is your duty as a leader or people providing leadership at the point to understand where are we coming from, what are the problems. When you have understood the problem very well, you have clearly defined your problem, you are almost there with solutions. So if government can clearly identify where are we coming from, what led us to where we are now, what are the problems that we have that have led us to where we are now, it is not going to be difficult for them to now say, okay, if we understand the problem, then what are the right solutions? Every economic problem has right economic solution. So it is the duty of the government to identify what are the problems and then begin to proffer solution to those problems. So if government should be able to do a technical audit of what are the factors that led to where we are. You're talking about food crisis, talking about political problem, talking about economic problem of the forex, exchange of naira to other currencies. Check all of those challenges. Something created the problem. There are some peculiar problems that were created by certain factors. So it is now the duty of the government to say these are the solutions we want to offer to provide to make sure that life is becoming, let me not say tolerated, because the reality is that anywhere in the world, objectively, government is not supposed to be. Government is supposed to be government is supposed to understand the fact that life is not supposed to be endured, but rather life must be enjoyed.
Yeah.
However, it's going to take us to make sure that people enjoy life. They're not just managing life. They're not just enduring. No doubt there will be occasions when there will be some form of endurance, but you must always provide for the people at all times. That is the function of God. That is the basic function of the government, to ensure that life is not endured, but life is enjoyed.
Yeah.
So the vibe from our people is not so palatable. People are complaining. Everybody's complaining. Life is really tough. No doubt about that. So and people are saying, for how long are you going to tell us to Falcon Valley? How long are we going to keep?
What are the plans?
Tell us what are the plans?
The timing?
So I think that is where we have to look at what are the problems, what are the solutions government is putting in place to ensure that these issues are addressed very quickly. And what also do we expect from the people as a government? What do we expect? It's only when people are cleared about government policies and plans and action. And programs.
This is our own
They
plans.
will now be able to say, okay, we're willing to. Now we understand what you are doing. Because the way things are now is as if people don't understand government policies and government actions. People are not well informed. They do not understand that government is doing something. Government is also not talking. And that's the purpose of this interaction when we come together to network. Okay, what
shaping
are the plans
conversations.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Now, they said that some of the three basic needs of man are food, in that order, I think. Food, shelter, and clothing. I was in a mechanics workshop about 2 weeks ago, and people, are talking. And, sometimes I have to play the devil's advocate to extract
Information
from people. And I told her, I said, things have to be repaired. He said, the woman now told me, he said, that is not the issue. He said he can do anything. Only but anything that touches on food as it is touching on food now is going to have very serious consequences. I said, what do you mean? I said, look, the cause of one of the causes of food scarcity or insufficiency is insecurity.
Good.
And insecurity, you know what it takes to dislodge those, whether they are bandits or whatever name they have been given, from the forest, whether it is Zamfara forest, whether it is Benue forest, or whether it is our own national park here. But the man said, see, anything that touches on food is touching the poor man's raw nerves, and that the consequences can be great for government. I was shocked that Nigerians would talk like that.
Yes, that means that we are beginning to realize our problems as a people. Now, until recently, we are all living in this country. We knew how terrible it was with our security system for several years, over 10 years. The problem started in 2014. I remember very well.
Yeah.
Another 2014, and like joke, the country became uninhabitable. Bandits have taken over. Insecurity all over the place, everywhere from the north to the eastern part of the country, southwest. Now we are beginning to feel the impact of those years of inability to go to farms. That is what has led us. One of the things that has led us to where we are now. I have a 10-acre plot. A farmland that I can't go for the past 8 years.
Wow.
And that's just one pocket of small-scale projects that have been abandoned. I can't even list it. People are not. They're not willing to, because as you are in the farm, you're also thinking about what's happening, who is coming from behind. So we've had this challenge of insecurity. That's why I said we need to understand what are the problems, what led us to where we are now. Now, so it's very critical. What that person said is one of the problems we had as regards food crisis. If you have had accumulated years of inability to produce food from your farms over time,
It
until
will, it will impact.
it will impact. So this government, that's why I said, the government now has to look at, that's one aspect. Storage is another problem.
It's a huge problem.
Huge problem. How do we store our food when we have bumper harvest?
It is a huge problem.
So in the next couple of months now, you will see maize all over the place.
This,
And in less than 3-4 months,
it
we have
will disappear.
consumed almost everything.
the silo that Senator Ajimobi's government started building in Oyo has not materialized.
I'm glad to tell you that my distinguished Senator, Dr. Yunus Akintunde, one of his cardinal points on the agenda to reposition Oyo Central is agriculture.
Okay.
And part of the programs he has is that issue you mentioned,
The silos.
the silos, to look at federal government should take over some of this. If state government can't function properly on this, let federal government come up with solution. Now, there is one seed development program right there at along Monoton axis. That's
Seed development.
seed development program.
Okay.
It has been abandoned.
Wow.
Yes.
Who owns it?
It's a federal government project.
Seed development.
Seed development program.
Producing, you know,
The type of seed,
advanced.
advanced seed that you need for, even for exports, to produce, you know, to grow
Specifically for
for exports. Because those products that you are exporting has to meet certain standards.
Oh, certainly, certainly.
So he is coming up with a program in synergy with the Ministry of Agric now to say, let us revive this process. And I'm glad to say that in a couple of months now, it will come to reality. So these are kind of things we should be asking our lawmakers, people at the federal level, even at the state level. How can we revive our agriculture? Now, we are also, I said earlier that if for every problem that you have, solutions are inherent.
Yeah.
They are available. You have to look at the short-term solutions, medium-term solutions, long-term solutions.
Yeah.
I need to say it here that I have looked at government proposal on solving the food crisis. Fantastic proposal.
On paper.
On paper. But with a few challenges which they need to adjust. I could see that those programs have fantastic medium-term and long-term proposition with very little on short-term proposition. That's one of the key issues that we need to advise government to look at. For now, let us assume that we are able to solve the issue of insecurity, and people can be able to go back to the farm. At least reasonably, they can go back to the farm. It will take you 3-4 months for you to have maize available.
Exactly.
It will take you about 8 months for rice to be grown.
Yeah.
Before you now take it for processing and all the rest of it, another 2-3 months. You can't have your rice that you are growing now on the table until about September, October.
Yeah.
Yam will take about 9 months. Cassava will take about 7 months.
What happens
between those months? Will people go on longer strike? No. So that's why we are proposing to government that, look, why don't you do, while we all agree that we have to protect our local content policy for production, for our GDP to grow, agric, all set of the economy. Let's take agric, for instance, now. We need to grow. We need to be self-sufficient in food in this nation. And we can. We have capacity to do that. For several years, Benue State alone could feed the whole country.
Yeah.
We can, the Southwest is blessed with arable crops, cocoa, rubber, cashew, all sorts of things. North is blessed with granite, several, and we have everything to make this country a great country in terms of food sufficiency. But unfortunately, we are not experiencing it. The country is so blessed with fantastic weather, good soil,
fantastic weather,
and yet we are not producing. You see, some years back, when you have people from Ondo State, where cocoa is well grown, and for now you now have young men of our age, some younger people leaving that system to come to look for bank job in Lagos.
White collar job.
100,000 naira per month.
Well,
whereas
the meaning of that.
Whereas they could have stayed back in those states, and instead of just exporting the raw material, raw cocoa, tell their parents that, Baba, let's take this thing to the next level. Let's begin to do add value, semi-processing before we take it outside the country. They are not doing that. Everybody's abandoning the farm. So if government can come up with a window of, let's say, 12 to 18 months to import some basic food items, I would recommend that government should open borders for rice. Nigerians don't joke with rice. They eat rice a lot. We eat rice a lot here. Families consume rice almost every day.
Yeah.
We also eat a lot of bread.
No, yeah,
So I would
two
suggest
basics,
those
two basics.
rice, bread, and that's flour rather. Rice,
Yeah.
flour, sugar,
Yeah.
vegetable oil,
Yeah.
and protein. Let's say fish.
Yeah.
Let them open the border for short-term solution so that people will not go
Flood the
hungry.
Nigerian
Flood the
market with
Nigerian market with
rice.
rice. Whereas, don't stop your production process. Expand your production process. While you are doing that, people have something to eat for a while. By the time you get to the level of your own rice being ready, the whole market, that's how the price of food will come
crash.
down. It will crash. Unless you do that, a lot of people will continue to cry, we are hungry, and Yoruba people, they have said it. Tell you about the crow no share.
Ishebushi.
So that is the kind of program that government has to look at.
I have people expressing worry that it may be only President Tinubu that is personally committed to this vision, that the people around him, key people around him, may not necessarily share his vision for a better Nigeria. They may be pursuing a better life for themselves rather than for a better future for Nigeria. And somebody was telling me that, have I not noticed that Muri Okunola has been brought in, and then we have seen and heard a little less from Gbajabiamila, that that guy has checkmated. He was brought in to checkmate Gbajabiamila and all of that. The fact is that the president, I keep saying it, that the president is a dreamer. He dreams in Lagos. That dream is coming to fruition in the red and blue lines, you know. Look, it takes planning. All these things takes planning, and it takes time. So you see, the great and lofty ideas, you are not likely to be the one to plan it and to execute it and see the thing manifest when you are doing a 4 or 8 year term. Look at the thing in Lagos. It has taken about 20-something years. But is that why politicians do what they will be visible within their 4 years?
Yeah. First of all, there's a fundamental problem about the structure of this nation in terms of governance. We need to also look at that. This is a country 190.
We are going to look at that in combination with the elite that govern.
So it's a large country, large expanse of land, large population, all combined together. Remember, we were coming from the in the 1960s till 1965, 66, then about 67, we were running regional government.
Yes.
Very little commitment at the center, but more to our various regions.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that changed, and then we're now where we are. There are 36 states now that has federal capital territory. Every state is running back to the center for survival. But only maybe
is that not reverse federalism?
So it's not. There's no way you can run the country of this size that way. I think all the state governors have to go back to the drawing board with the federal government to say, okay, let us leverage on the advantage that we have as each unit having certain resources that we can develop. For instance, look at Oyo State. With due respect to our governor, trying his best. He's trying his best. That is Governor Seyi Makinde.
Yeah.
I think by now, Oyo State should have been able to leverage on the advantage of closeness to Lagos.
In terms
of commercial expansion.
Okay.
So that the Lagos window is, you can imagine, it was so difficult, so bad, that Lagos has to now begin to enter into the ocean. Eco-Atlantic.
Eco-Atlantic.
So they can't come to in. There's no land inwards. Now you have Ogun State and Oyo State very close to Lagos. Ogun
is taking advantage.
Taking advantage, but not as much as Oyo State should also take that advantage and do better.
Oyo has not taken full advantage.
Yes, we have to open our industrial system, our industrial zone, and expand the opportunity of networking with Lagos State government. Look, if you have problem there, we are available here. You have the people, you have investment partner here, you have the
intellectual backbone.
You have a lot of advantage. You have most of research organizations are here in Oyo State.
Yeah.
So
Ibadan was designed to be the intellectual capital of Nigeria.
Yeah. So are we taking advantage
intellectual
of that
and cultural capital of Nigeria?
So we must take advantage of that linkage.
Yeah.
Like you rightly said, going back to the analysis of planning, we must also thank God now that we have a president that is thinking. At least that can be guaranteed that this man meant well for the country. Just like Baba Buhari said, I wish I was much younger when I took over. We actually wish that it was Tinubu in his Lagos days, and he's now Nigerian president now. But be honest, still now I'm telling you, the president does not sleep. He doesn't hardly sleep.
You cannot carry the burden of Nigeria and sleep.
And sleep very, maybe 4 hours per day, thereabouts. If he's able to get that much.
I doubt that.
Now, you have a president who is thinking. He now has a team that he has put in place. The shout now is that these people are not doing as much as we expected them to do. They have to hit the ground running. Don't forget the president was there for about 5 months of his first few of after his inauguration. He was still battling with legitimacy challenge.
Yeah.
And now that is over. We have now reached a stage. This is January now. You have finished that one around September, October. Now you have provided for us a budget that is totally your own.
Yeah.
I tell Nigerians that we can now ask questions after the implementation of the 2024 budget. 2023 budget, they met it on ground.
Yeah.
There wasn't much they could do
Yeah.
until maybe September when they did the supplementary budget, which they could just tinker with, with a little influence. But now, this is a project that is wholly yours. You designed it. People should give the government time for implementation. I've said it that there should be some time.
At least 18 months.
18 months. Let us see how far these people can go. I tell you, majority of us here are professionals. We also have that duty as professionals to educate our people, inform them.
Yes.
I'm so shocked sometimes when I hear some of our supposedly educated people who should understand dynamics of economic management. Already also complaining that people are complaining.
People politicizing everything.
So it's most likely you need to educate people that implementing a budget for a country that has gone through these pains, these challenges for over 10 years of being in the wilderness. And the president said it clearly that I am not going to bother myself so much about how badly it has been managed. All I'm going to do is to learn from the experience of how
and confront those challenges.
I want to confront the challenges. I want to create more time to solve the problem that I have met on ground, which is a better approach.
Why buck passing?
So at the same time, you can look inwards to the back. I mean, look backward and say, okay, how did you manage the economy? Where were the money you claim you spent there? As you are retrieving those money back, as you are putting efforts on your corruption anti-corruption drive, where you can trace back some of the money that has been stolen, that created the problem we have now. Because the problem we have now, is
so much money.
So much money that was stolen, taken out of the system to buy dollars that we are not selling for us. Those are the challenges. There are so many headaches that the government is facing. And they are ready. They are committed that we will solve these problems once and for all. The president said clearly to us, it cannot be business as usual. We have to look at issues of managing the economy holistically. It will be painful when we put some of these policies on ground, but at the end of the day, the country will benefit from it. Look at the tax solution that they have put in place now. When you study the tax next enhancement that the present FIRS chairman, Dr. Zach Adelabu, that he has put in place, anybody who can study the template will know that, wow, now we are ready for real growth in Nigeria.
Now,
but unfortunately, people are not well informed about those reforms. So that's why people need to study what are the templates the government have in place. And government also has that duty to educate and inform the people. These are the plans. These are the problems. These are solutions that we are providing.
Effective communication.
Yeah, there must be communication between the people and the government.
Because even if in a family, you have a plan as the head of the family, number one, you must have the buy-in of your wife. Because your wife is likely to be your communications minister with the children.
Of course. She's the best communication minister.
She will be communicating and explaining, in a way that they will understand, and then will make your job easier in implementing those plans. And in the interest of the family, yes, you still have to explain. You owe them a duty.
Otherwise, you won't have the leverage to be able to even implement the plans. Because by the time the pressures are coming onto you, like pressure is coming on the president now, on the system now, IB power,
If you are not focused, one will be derailed.
So government has to explain to the people, these are the programs that we have.
In the language they understand.
These are that is it. The legislative arm of government, from what I gather, what I know by working with Senator Yunus Akintunde,
Yeah.
I discovered that there's a synergy, purposeful synergy, deliberately put in place that no, this is not time for us to haggle and argue and be confrontational with each other, executive arm and legislative arm. Rather, let us together have a synergetic relationship that we can see the problem together as leaders of the country, and together provide solutions where you are having problem of legal backing or legal institutional framework. Legislative arm will produce that and support the government. For instance, I remember shortly after the inauguration of the House of the Senate, immediately after the president came in, he announced the removal of subsidy.
Yeah.
Now suddenly they wanted to introduce a tariff, electricity tariff. After all, Yunus Akintunde, my principal was the mover of that motion. I said, you can't do this now.
After
people are still battling with the issue of fuel subsidy. You want to also introduce tariff or increase in tariff of electricity? No, let's hold on. Let us study the system very well.
One thing at a time.
And surprisingly, very interestingly, the government, executive and government, listened to the advice of the legislative arm of government, and they stopped it. That is the kind of synergetic relation that we should expect between the government, the executive arm of government and legislative arm.
Actually,
people are expecting that they should not be
the three arms constitute government.
Yes, it's a synergy. Separation of power is there. Checks and balances are there.
The three arms constitute government.
So now the federal government also said that, okay, the palliatives we want to do, we will pass some of these things through the legislative arm. About around December, it was approved, but we haven't seen the implementation.
It will require cashback.
Yes. So the approval has been done by the Ministry of Agric for them to procure certain amount of grains that will be distributed through the senators and House of Rep members.
Because they are the people that are representing us.
So again, just last month, federal government announced palliative that the state government are supposed to put in place through the increased revenue allocated to states.
Yeah.
Though we didn't have the figure, but everybody, the figures are available. You can check the revenue allocation.
It's available monthly.
Monthly. In most states, they have doubled what they used to collect before.
Is that no more than 100%?
Some states are collecting about 30% more than what they used to collect before. But have we seen the effect of that at the state level?
At the state level.
So these are the kind of questions that we should be asking our leaders. That look, yesterday I was watching Governor Fubara of Rivers State. When he was giving his vote of thanks to the people who attended Dr. Wigwe's
funeral.
And he said that there was one lesson he took away from the whole of this sad experience. That here was a man who had all the money, financial strength, the powers, he could call the shots, he was even controlling the political system by relating with the top people and everything. And he was one of the most powerful Nigerians financially. But here lies the same man and his wife and his son. We deal with condolences. We commiserate with the Wigwe family. Nigerians are really mourning about this young man that passed away. But it said the lesson there is that why all this struggle? I want to be this, I want to have this, I want to control all these millions, I want to steal, I want to that is characterized of our Nigerian leaders. That why don't we struggle to ensure that we make life easier for our people? And he was emphatic about that political class should go back with that lesson of commitment to people. Our politicians and leaders must know things. It says governance is service to humanity. You are a servant leader. If God has given you the grace to be a leader, see it as servanthood. That you are there to represent God, to be a blessing to humanity. Anything short of that is failure. So our leaders have to see that. They need to sit down and holistically assess the situation, find lasting solutions to the problems, and let people have some succor. It is too tough. Things are too tough. We are ready to endure. We are ready to focus on it. We
must be told terms and conditions.
Let us know what you are doing. What are the plans?
For how long?
Let us also know what you are doing. Let people be well informed. Our elite class, that's another issue. I know you're going to go to that.
Certainly. Security and elite.
So security has to be put in place.
Yeah,
We
thank
have to
God
have,
they are talking about security
and it's
and
improving,
specifically state security.
and it is improving now.
State
State
security.
police is being proposed
State
now.
police is being proposed.
I hope it will see the
But
light of the day.
if you see it, but those who want to sabotage it or don't want it to work as it should, they are suggesting that we should have one IG. That IG will still be controlling. They say give them geopolitical commissioners of police, AIGs and all of that. I said that's not the idea. The idea is that even if we are going to give, control to the states, they have to be in control and to be in charge because they are named chief security officers in the Constitution.
I think in the content of state policing that people are proposing, that have been suggested, it is going to be the kind of arrangement we have presently in managing our state as federal system, state system. And, they are proposing that certain functions of policing will be centralized. For instance, securing the land borders, apart from immigration and
oh yes, I mean that's a federal job.
Yes, where there are pockets of issues across the country, national challenge, the police will be involved in that.
Yeah.
Maintaining law and order that are federal related, manning government establishments that are federal oriented.
Yeah.
That's what federal police will be doing now.
Federal issues.
Federal issues will handle. Then your state government will now control their policing of the environment, just like it has been done in America.
Yeah.
Indianapolis, Minneapolis, New York police, all of these states have their various, Michigan, all of them, they have their various
Even
police
county
departments.
police.
Yeah, so now even at the local system, they have the county, like I said,
Yeah.
county police. So this is the kind of thing that can work for us. Not that you have only one central policing system at Abuja that controls it. It's not going to work. So policing, security is very, very important. If we can be able to get our police, security architecture very well established and redefined. Our security architecture right now is in shambles. Let us face the reality. So we need to look at it. In ideal solution is that each street must be properly manned.
Yes, that reminds me that what we currently have, the neighborhood associations. In Southwest we have neighborhood associations everywhere, and they meet once a month. They have standing executives, and those standing executives seem now to be working with the PPRC, or what do they call them, public police something relations, and that can't we just, and they relate with the divisional police, headquarters of the that is within the jurisdiction of the estate. So why don't people are saying, look, that is a government on its own. Why don't you strengthen it and let the people, in short, localize security?
Policing is not just the function of those who are engaged to do it, that are being paid to provide that service. Policing is a community thing.
So localize it.
And again, we also have to look at technology.
Yeah.
To drive our policing system.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper.
Yeah.
You man your camera all over the place instead of putting human beings there. Just control the system. The moment that you know that you
it will trigger.
It will trigger.
It will trigger.
So we have to look at all of these issues and empower the police system, empower them with all necessary infrastructure that they need to work with. If you need to go to police stations, you'll be shocked.
Police station.
No light, no vehicle to
thinking.
operate, and everywhere is just, even the police cells are horrible. They are like death traps. So no, some of these issues have to be re-evaluated, and we now come with a nation that has the capacity to move forward. In a very short while, I believe. We can talk about every sector of the economy, talk about education, where we are not preparing our future leaders. The kind of education we have right now is not robust enough to prepare our future leaders. We have a lot of skill gap challenge now because majority of people that have been produced do not have
the capacity.
We interview some of these graduates. We ask ourselves, are you sure you actually went to university to study the course you said you studied? Because it is just baggage in, baggage out.
I remember,
right from primary school.
I remember Professor of Education
people are already talking
that.
about organizing the examination for primary school.
One education professor kept telling me that what we do here is cognitive training.
Yes.
That we do not do application. Okay, if you teach me about cognitive part and you don't teach me application, what's the essence of knowledge
It's of no value.
that you cannot apply?
Instead that teaches you what, but doesn't teach you how to do. It teaches you what to do.
Yeah.
But doesn't teach you
How
how to do
it.
and with what to do.
That is,
So and that's why when we go outside the country, you see a lot of our young people performing miracles because right from primary school you can recite primary multiplication table, or from 2 to 12. By the time you are in primary 3, they know and be that whereas the system over there, outside there, is not as that strenuous.
yeah.
So we need to look at our curriculum and reevaluate our curriculum, reposition the curriculum. Let them. This system is not teaching people how to do things. It's not teaching people how to do things. I can tell you that.
I am worried about the Nigerian elite.
Okay. Another issue entirely. That's a great
I have studied,
problem that you have identified.
I've studied, understudied the role of the elite in national development. They call it elite consensus. And I've asked myself, what is the consensus of the Nigerian elite? Another one told me that the consensus, which is clear to everybody, just look around. The consensus of the Nigerian elite is to capture the Nigerian state. And they have captured the Nigerian state. And that they do not seem to care that societies that moved on to the next level were driven by the elite. And the elite chose to sacrifice some of what should ordinarily accrue to them to spread it around, to guarantee the safety of all. That as we are speaking now, the elite have captured the Nigerian state. And what they are doing is in their own interest and their own interest alone. They are not doing any interest in the interest of the people.
Well, that is sad. There's this saying that a society that cannot guarantee the safety of its poor cannot also expect guarantee the safety of the rich.
There is one placard that I've been seeing.
If you do not provide for the poor, one day, like I always said, there's going to be a day where monkey will go to market.
I told somebody
and
that.
Monkey will not be able to return. The people are already groaning in pains that life is tough, life is difficult. Like you said, there's no country that can grow beyond the capacity of
the elite, yeah.
Especially the elite class. The elite class, that means the educated class, really, hold the system that responsibility to, one, design the policies that will drive your system.
Yeah.
Two, aggregate resources that will drive that policy design. Three, implementation of those policy designs. Four, feedback. Get the feedback. How far have we gone? That is the real function of the education. We are supposed to be the one that would design, okay, this is the processes that we are going to follow to ensure that this is our strength as a nation, as a people. Here are our resources. How do we put these resources together and provide leadership, let the people follow the system designed, and then implement it? That is the essence of leadership.
I have had encounters with people. Even this afternoon, I was parked somewhere, and I saw people. You know, it used to be a general thing, but I've noticed clearly now that it's the commercial operators, either what do they call them, the tricycle, or the Micra, and the Okada, that are the most guilty. But I've had to ride in tricycles, especially when coming this way, especially when coming this way, and I've had cause to challenge those tricycle riders. Even one passenger, apparently, you know, an educated person, he said, stop harassing these harmless tricycle riders. That it is the elite that has shown them the way, and that you can operate in a lawless manner and get away with it. That so if your elite are lawless, that the people are going to be lawless too.
That's what I'm
that
saying.
is the role and function of the elite to lead by example. And if they fail to lead by example, the nation may descend into
Right.
disorderliness.
You remember right in our school days, primary school days, they will teach us personal hygiene.
Yeah.
We are the ones that would take care of our schools, clean our boards,
Oh, yes.
tidy up the environment.
There
We are
are
going on
wash hand
Friday, wash
basins.
hand basins are there. Quality training that was preparing us for future leadership.
Yeah.
Suddenly, we have lost all those values. The so-called elite class that you are talking about now are the ones that would drive on the road and would not respect the traffic lights and would drive without
drive,
any.
yeah.
What they cannot do when they, and these same people will behave when they go outside the country. Because it's a system that is controlled.
Very,
It's a-
very
it's a
totally
self-elite
controlled.
class that will drop litters on the road from their cars. I wonder, who do you expect? What miracle are you expecting angels to pack those deaths
You litter.
stuff that you have littered? You will see the same as the so-called elite educated individuals. That when it is raining, they bring out their debris and throw inside the river.
It's
As if
that is the one that
so,
beats
so
me.
those are
out,
fundamental,
down.
basic, small issues. Not to talk about real content. So the question we ask ourselves is that what is the capacity content of the so-called elite class that you are expecting so much from? So the majority are half-baked, educated individuals, worse than real illiterates.
Because they will think they know.
Because they will think they know. For people who don't know, you can say these ones they don't know.
And
It is easy-
overlook that.
No, not overlook. It is easy for you to plan for them
Yeah.
and say, let's know how we will repackage your life.
Okay.
But for people that you expected should know, you hear individuals who are saying, "Oh, how many people are really hungry, they are hungry, people are complaining, you hear some things from school elite class who should know. Have you studied the budget provided by the government first for this year? Have you studied the palliative measures and processes put in place, action plan of government to reduce the problem we are talking about? They have not. Instead of sitting down to identify they join the populace in saying what is not correct. And people believe them. For instance, me now, myself now, as educated person, whatever I say, I can tell you there are several people who will say, Olatunji knows all. That's the truth.
Knowing fully well that you are informed.
Is informed. So I'm supposed
informed.
to be informed.
Yes.
So they look at me. Some of these people will ask us when they are going to cast their votes. Because they believe that we have capacity
Yes.
to inform them. Unfortunately, the elite class
That will inform them, will inform them based on his own interest.
his own interest.
Not the interest of society.
So that's a big problem. So we challenge our elite class on this program that we have to look at. We have to be honest. Go and study simple economic policy.
In whose interest is what the elite is currently doing
we
to Nigeria.
we want to move this nation forward. I will always refer to some of the things we are doing at Oyo Central.
And one thing that beats me is that
district.
they don't even listen anymore. Look at the noise that people. No, I don't want to call it noise. Look at the protests, the vicious protest of Nigerians when they said they were going to buy SUVs in the National Assembly, and some of them, to rub salt into the injury of Nigeria, and said, well, they said Nigerian roads are bad. And somebody was telling me, yes, on Friday, he said one of them on national television said, what is it that they are buying? 180, 200 million SUV. That he has better cars in his garage than that. And those are people that are representing. How more insensitive and irresponsible can some of these people get?
That's why I said to our people that our leaders, we hold them that responsibility to ask questions. We must ask.
They say they are unavailable.
No, they are available, and they must be made to respond to issues of governance. They have to be available. And I tell you, in my senatorial district, what Senator Yunus today has done is to say, okay, maybe he's entitled officially to maybe about 3 or 4 aides. And he said, okay, now that won't be enough for me to be able to communicate with people. He has engaged 15 of us. 4 essays, he called them special interest, including myself, special assistant on media and publicity.
Okay.
He has 3 other special assistants on special interest. What's that special interest?
Okay.
What are the people yearning for in your local area?
Okay.
He wants to hear.
He needs feedback.
He needs feedback. He also employed LOs, liaison officers in all the 11 local governments that are under that senatorial district. Each local government has one LO. What is their function? To be able to identify with the people locally. These are things we want in our local. What they need in Akinyele might not be the same.
It cannot be. It cannot be.
People should relate with this.
They should not bring that central planning down to the local.
And don't just, that's one. So he's getting feedback from the people. People is hearing every day what they need in Oluyole, what they need in Afijio, Surulere, Ogoluwa, Oyo, and Atiba, all the Afijio. Everybody is compiling. We have files that we compile issues that we are discussing with. That's one. Number two.
And you do executive summaries.
And we meet with him, we discuss with him almost every two days.
Wow.
On how far we have, this is what we have done in this. This is what the people are expecting you to handle this. Now, education is also very primary, very is one of its primary focus. Building of classrooms, construction of new classrooms in some of the existing schools.
Facilitating them.
We went to
some will have to build himself.
And look at it's an old school with some of these buildings are still very strong. All they did is just maybe renovation.
Exactly.
He has done some of that, innovated some buildings here. Some areas that the buildings have collapsed totally, reconstruct new ones.
Yeah.
Government should look at that. For instance, also in Agric, he has programs for agriculture. He's releasing fertilizers for farmers. So farmers go back to the farm. Let us also give you fertilizers. Let's give you improved seedlings. Street light, you don't forget, he's an energy expert.
Oh,
he had the physics first degree, master's first degree, in physics, and a PhD in energy studies. He is doing a lot of functions in street light using solar energy.
Yeah.
By virtue of it, he's the chairman of environmental House Committee on Environment.
Okay.
And so he's doing a lot of issues relating with people on how do we improve our environment. Those are the kind of legislative function. People should be asking questions, not give us rice. It's not the duty of the leader to give us rice. Asking questions about what are you doing for the society. Yes, rice will come, but basically, we need to have good governance. Exactly. People need to ask their legislators.
And I say, may I step in? As people demand good governance, I demand transparency and accountability.
Very well.
I think it is important that you have to step this up. I mean, what you said about your principal here, things have to be stepped up so that people can have feedback. We are available here, We are the medium. We are the solution. We are the remedy. That's why we are the remedy, so that all of these things, the feedback cannot just should not just be between the constituents, so it to be public. That's some form of transparency and accountability that we promote here. As we wrap up, my producer is already flagging me. You, in a minute, speak to Nigerians in this.
Yes, I want to just assure Nigerians that, yes, things are tough, things are difficult, challenging times here for everyone, but with our renewed hope that and trust and confidence in our leadership, with the need for us to also ask them questions and get feedback about what are your action plans. I strongly believe that when you put all of this together, we have hope that Nigeria will become a place where all of us will be happy and glad that we are citizens of this great country. This country has a lot of potentials, capacity for us to do better than we are doing now. I trust that with our resilience and our aspirations and our hope, not being drowned, hopefully by the grace of God, we are on the path to progress. I trust this president. I believe in him. And I believe that by the grace of God, with all the efforts of all of us in place, in our own little way, in our own little corner, keep this alive.
Keep hope alive.
Keep hope alive. A working system.
Thank you very much. My guest this afternoon on the show has been Honorable Kunle Olatunji. Thank you so much. God bless you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
I do wish you all the very best. It's been Pendulum. Moon Solutions 93.9 FM this Sunday afternoon, the 10th day of March. I am Ayodiji Ajishokwe. Producing me has been Victory Oyedikachi. God bless you. God bless our union. Bye for now.